politician, we all must know our stuff inside out. One of the things that is going to be a little different for Metrolinx, and I hope they do implement it, everything should be based on facts-based, evidence-based, and business case-based. And when you apply that, this line here went from last place to first place as the economic opportunity. And I sort of knew that, but I'm glad to do that. Let's get the emotion out of here. Let's do the right things and plan for our people. The other thing I've been an advocate of, and we're doing the hub study right now in Markham Center, I'm saying is let's also bury the hydro lines, plan a future of building the 407 rail transitway, and the thing is that the land just around where a rail crosses a rail, it's worth $3 to $5 million an acre, and we can't afford to just turf that land around. Let's bury it, put the roads, and we free up, just in this one quadrant from Woodbine to, from Warden to Kennedy, we free up close to 100 acres. And it costs about $65 million to bury them, and the land is worth $300 or so million minimal for the overall land. And then this one here, I've been fighting this for a long time, and it's been a Langstaff too. And the thing is that we gotta, as a regional councillor, I gotta know my numbers. And you see the yellow, I'm saying that's what the 407 transitway should be. That's what I believe is the most efficient, the most affordable. That blue line, I think it's blue or green, that curves up there, that's what, when they did the environmental assessment, they said, a new idea, a new theory, let's take trains to buses instead of buses to trains. And the difference between that curve and going straight is $360 million. And as taxpayers, we can't afford that. If it's $360 million here, it's about $600 million over at Langstaff. And so got to fight for that. And I'm saying if we get this stuff, I think then the young subway, one of the things that the Toronto Council has said, in order to extend the young subway up to Highway 7, we need the downtown relief line. I think the downtown relief line that they're proposing is no relief. All they're trying to do with that relief line is offload some of the load at the Bloor and Young, okay? But it's not really any relief. The other line is that. So I think that will help us get the thing and to the people in Thornhill, if we also drive the Richmond Hill and to the Barrie line, we can also offload. And one of the things I'm going to push for is a review of Viva going up Yonge Street, because I think it would be a lot better if we had the Barrie line with more stations and connectivity, because all Viva is doing is taking me to the Finch 6 station. And I've been working on the Markham Center since I've been on council, and I think like it still seems like a construction zone in some ways, but I think what Times Development is showing us that they're doing an amazing job, and I think we want to really and I think we want to transform Highway 7 back into a main street. But I think that, this issue of townhouses or condos they don't sell, one of the things that I'm going to push for back in Markham Council, providing I get back in, is that we take money out of the reserves and we finish off all the roads and finish all the parks off in the Markham Center. And because once you do that, that's the way they used to plan in the past. And right now we're waiting to the developers finish a building and then we'll put the park in. I think we put it in there, and it's sort of like if you make this happen, they will come. And I'm going to fight for that. And the thing is that, if you start putting up bad buildings, and before long you've wrecked your chances to do something. And I'm going to plan for great streets, and one of the great streets that we're going to try to reinvent, and we got interested people with money that share the same view, is that maybe we're going to make Highway 7 from Town Center Boulevard to, let's say, Kennedy, a great street. Okay, and maybe then we take it further to McCowan. I'm not overly a fan of Viva going down the center of the roads, but they're going to go through here too, and they're going to go in mixed traffic, and I'm saying that thank God they are, because we'd screw it up there too. So this area has become very hot lately because we put the sewer pipe down, and now it's time, if we don't do this type of planning, this is going to be Condo Alley. And I sort of, a lot of times I've anticipated the future, and I've been right, and sometimes I got killed for trying to determine the future, like bringing the rights together. But the thing is, that's what I'm going to try to do there. And also, this is a picture of space that it'll be on the west side where Times is now. Let's create great places. When you create great streets and you create great places, you're going to start creating great destinations. And that's what we're going to focus on, too, in the Markham City Centre. It's time that we put the heart back into our planning, and especially the Markham Centre. And I think once we get the Markham Centre kind of more in the completion stage, the rest of Markham will take off. The other thing I want to do is plan all the transit stops in Markham. And, when I say transit stops, if there's buildings we can tear down, but over the next 30 or 40 years we plan it for that, then we can rebuild, and we'll guarantee the success of transit. I just met with somebody the other day, and he says he knows of people in another country that are willing to invest in this. And the only unfortunate thing is that I spent 8 years on this, maybe almost the last 11 years on the CSIO, MISTA, the Commonwealth Games, etc. And kind of in secret, York University is sort of on top of this site right now, and I got to get back on top of that and integrate York with MISTA. Because what I see, when I said earlier, 10,000 kids a day, I think, look at the future. We can keep them out of trouble, out of jail. We teach them the lifelong character building skills, and that's what MISTA is all about. So, I had 1 million square feet of Olympic sports stuff here, but it's what is an Olympian? An Olympian is an 8-year-old with a dream, and could be overweight, etc., but it's with a dream, and that's my definition of Olympian, and I'm going to fight for that. When you do all that together, you do great places, great streets, great architecture. You're going to create a great place and a great destination, and that's what I'll continue to work on. I'll just be brief on this, but streamlining government is we got to get rid of the silos out of these different areas of government. Like, for example, I think Times took them 18 months longer because there was some red-eye dice. Let's catch the damn things, put them in a thing, do the stuff, and then put them back in the water. I mean, all of these agencies are costing us a fortune, and somehow we got to bring all this together and get and say, hey, let's be competitive. Let's not be, everybody sort of does his own thing, and they don't talk to each other, and they don't care what the costs are. So that's a challenge. It's going to be a challenge, but that's what I'm going to try to work on. And then what needs to be done, I want to tell the people on Thornhill, revitalization, I'm going to work on that, try to solve it, and I'm not going to allow a spur to go into Raywall to deliver a material. We're going to do a great plan, and then that plan will be implemented over, when somebody wants to come and assemble the land, we give them predictability. And that's the reason why you plan, is to give people predictability so they can assemble the land and do and then they can implement the plan. I'm going to work on Main Street, Unionville. It's not easy, okay? I mean, I got many people, they think they own stuff there, even though they don't own stuff there. And another hot area, it's hot. We spent the last council meeting, just before, I guess it's a break, was Cathedral Town. And, there's some issues there that I think there was injustices done. Somebody was told in 2004 that they couldn't implement the lake, but continued to show pictures of the lake. And people, with good faith, bought properties figuring the lake was there, and it's not going to happen. So we got to fix that. And also they bought... They also bought in there with the idea of a cathedral. Well, that cathedral hasn't been used in 8 years. And we got to sort that out. I like to see it go back to the congregation, and you get 1 or 2 or 3,000 in the congregation. They'll be able to finish it a lot faster and have it back up and running and being an instrumental part of Cathedral Town and something that people can be proud of, versus one landowner thinks that she's going to finish it off in the next 50 or 60 years. So I want to work on that. I feel sorry for the people. And there's many other things, but I tell you, I've been 23 years in politics, and this last 8 months to a year, I've never finished with so many hot potatoes that it's been on the Markham Council. But you know what? I've always been in the hot seat, and it's really, I love solving problems. I love working with people, and I want to be back because there's much more to go and do before I say goodnight. So thank you very much. And